Thank you for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Who has a story?
Yes, I have a story. So the federal government has announced the plan to offer cash transfer. The federal government is doing the cash transfer to 20 million poor Nigerians. This came from the Minister of, the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and he said that this is off the increase in the revenue that Nigeria has, the government received in the first quarter of last year as compared to the first quarter of this year. And they are going to be using that to provide social intervention, that there are different programs, but one of the programs they want to do is a direct cash transfer to 60% of the poorest, and they estimate they'll be reaching out to 20 million persons. He said this would, that there are many other economic reforms, that there's a comprehensive proposal that would help to stimulate jobs, create jobs, stimulate growth in the key sectors of the economy. But this cash transfer I'm taking the story with, like, can we not? But I know people that are going to receive it will be grateful for it. But on the holistic level, I just feel it's the low-hanging fruit that will make us feel like we're doing something. And really, we're not really doing.
I realize that what Nigerians see as progress is when you just give the handouts. That's what the majority want.
Yeah. Even the handout is always very unfair, because I sit with people who I know need this cash transfer.
Poorest of all.
And they never, ever, nobody has ever approached them, but they get their details for billing, they get their details for election. Nobody gets their details for cash transfer.
Yeah, I have
it's such an unfair arrangement.
All marketers have said that the volume of PMS produced, that's petrol produced by Dangote refinery, is currently not enough to meet domestic demand. And so these dealers have aligned with TUC to demand that the refinery either ramp up production, as this plant was producing about 10 million litres of petrol daily, as against the 25 million litres that was earlier promised. So NMPDR had come out to assure dealers, marketers that, that 25 million litres daily is what the refinery will be producing. But everyone is saying, that stakeholders, that that's not the case. And that if not because of the high price of petrol and diesel, that what would have been seeing really serious queues, that it's just that the prices have actually stopped Nigerians from bringing out their cars. Like, many people have parked their cars. So it looks like the way to go would be to
import.
Yeah, import, get from other suppliers, because they do not believe that the refinery is meeting up to production. The refinery, I think, insists that they had given different timelines that for different amounts that they would be producing. So there was a 10 million litres, 15 million litres by October, but that's
by
not
now
the
we're
case
not getting
on ground.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Naira, according to World Bank, has been listed amongst the worst performing currencies in sub-Saharan
Tell me something I don't know.
2024. This according to the latest edition of Africa Pulse, a new report by World Bank. As of the end of 2024, August, Naira had depreciated by 43%, making it one of the region's weakest currencies alongside the Ethiopian currency. The depreciation, according to reports of the Naira, is attributed to several factors, including surging demand for the US dollars in the parallel market and limited dollar inflows and delays in foreign exchange disbursements by Nigerian Central Bank. The World Bank's report further highlights that demand for dollar driven by financial institutions, non-financial end users, and money managers has exacerbated the pressure of the Naira. So this exacerbating situation
we know.
is something that we are aware of.
We don't know.
Tell us for giving us the numbers to back it up.
It's like person doing the research is on one side, and the other World Bank people giving us the terms are on one side. They are on opposite side. They don't know what is happening.
All right, let's move on to Vanguard. Highest authority order diversion of flight, says pilot. That's the Super Eagles Libyan horror show. National grid collapses the second time in 24 hours. FOI, Mumbai engages 6 SANs to defend the 15 trillion Lagos-Calabar highway budget suit. Flood, reps seek review of the Lago Dam agreement between Nigeria and Cameroon. PDP crisis, why governors nullify suspensions, ordered return to status quo. And State of the Nation, how Nigerians can take back their own country, says Patotomi. Okay, which story?
I have the flood, Rep 6. Is that the paper?
Flood? No. Who has I think we've taken all the stories. Umahi. Who has Umahi's story?
No, I don't have the Umahi story. I have a story inside the paper.
What of the bridge?
The somebody had ticked it.
Was it Libya I took?
Somebody took the story inside the papers, actually. Sari Gomu building collapse. The Commissioner for Information and Strategy for Lagos State had come out to say that the governor, in protecting lives and property, had specifically, through the necessary agencies, that's LABSCA, Lagos State Building Control Agency, 2 weeks before the incident, had pasted that there must be an evacuation on the building. And because the LABSCA team were doing their job, the building was evacuated, and after, because it was labeled as distressed, evacuate, and then the building collapsed. So it would have been, there would have been loss of lives if the building wasn't labeled by LABSCA at the right time. And the reason I'm taking this story is because many people see those labels and feel like they just believe there's conspiracy. But in this case, there was no conspiracy. Number 20 Amusun Street, Orile Gomu, on Monday, it collapsed when just a few days before it was labeled as evacuate. You might be lucky that they will label your house evacuate and it does not collapse few days after. But you might be unlucky, and thank God that the lucky people that obeyed, the residents obeyed, and now when the building collapsed, they evacuated. So when the building collapsed, there was no loss of life. So please, let's obey.
So they had evacuated them the day before it collapsed?
Yes, no, a few days before. They put the mark there and asked them to all evacuate, and they left. And when it now collapsed, it was not like it was a...
So I saw that video.
Yes, it wasn't expected. It was, the way they said it was like, it collapsed on its own.
Yeah, have you seen the video?
Yes.
It just felt, it looked like something had gone off.
And nothing, and thankfully nobody died.
Okay, so Nigeria's power... Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I have this flood story from the House of Reps. They're seeking to review the Lagdo Dam agreement between Nigeria and Cameroon. And I like that following this resolution moved by the minority leader of the House of Reps, Kingsley Chinda, at the plenary, the House of Reps yesterday mandated the Nigerian-Cameroon Friendship Group to review the arrangement and agreement between both countries. They also mandated the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Federal Ministry of Works to expedite the completion of the Dancing Hausa Dam in Adamawa, which is supposed to buffer and absorb some of the water released from the Cameroon Lagdo Dam. The House of Reps also mandated the Ministry of Environment to undertake a comprehensive study of the impact of climate change. And I like that the House of Reps member, what do you call it, the Honorable, had reviewed how this continuously affects lives in the states that are bordering around the dam. He said whenever this water is released every year, you see Borno, Adamawa, Benue, Taraba, and Kogi start to suffer some kind of loss. And this dam has continuously been released over years. I like that now they are doing something. Hopefully before the next release, we'll have something. I was talking about somewhere to hold the water, because there are certain states in the north where you see drought.
They need the water.
They need the water for farming. So let's have to start to build channels.
Okay. Nigeria's power grid has collapsed for the 7th time this year and the 2nd time in 24 hours, throwing the entire nation into darkness. So it was not only you, that was darkness. The grid recorded its 6th collapse in 2024 yesterday and was followed by a swift recovery before the system again collapsed. In the notice, the Ikeja Electric said, please be informed that we experienced another system outage today. And then similarly, Ecodisco also sent a message to all the customers. I'm not sure about
They did not send message, Joe.
Ecodisco said they sent message. Maybe your text message is not working.
They sent
but
to
most,
you. They have removed
most, yes, I got the one from Ikeja also. So other states, let's see if they told you, because Ikeja and Disco Eco here told us.
Last week they carried the story.
The darkness that told us.
So we are currently working with our partners as we hope to speedy restoration.
Actually,
so we'll see
you're
how
right.
that
It was
goes.
the darkness that told me, then I checked and I realized they had sent us.
Okay, so maybe
Vanguard. Hi, okay, I think we already took Vanguard. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Nigerian Tribune, our final paper this morning. PDP governors resolved the NWC crisis. Your government arranged auxiliary on 17-count charge. World Food Day. Nigerians groan as prices of food items continue to rise. FG and ASO agreement. Wale Ahmed heads 53-member renegotiation committee. PDP flags off Ondo governor campaign as Makinde demands the deployment of the state rec. And court orders Very Dark Man to remove defamatory content about Falano and his son.
So I have World Food Day. So as the countries all over the world are celebrating this day today, Nigerians are lamenting the high cost of food items. Some of them took to social media platforms to talk about the consistent increase in price of food. The Tribune did a report, went around Ibadan, and to find prices. They said a Congo of rice.
Congo.
A Congo. A Congo of rice. What is a Congo of rice?
Just
Erica.
It's
a bit above
the Erica.
It's not mudu. Do you know what mudu is?
I know mudu. Mudu is
Okay.
smaller than a Erica.
Okay, so a Congo of rice goes for between 3,200 and 3,500, while a Congo of beans goes for between 4,000 and 5,000.
Beans is now a luxury.
75 cl bottle of vegetable oil now sells for 2,000 naira, while 75 cl of palm oil sells for between 1,000 and 1,200. So I'm imagining these are really minimal small
Sizes,
measurements.
yes, and yet that
So
expensive.
You know, now that you talked, I was going to call out some. Let
me just quickly take this
Yeah, go
story
ahead,
because
go
there's malnourishment and it's very linked to food. The International Committee of the Red Cross has expressed concern over the number of hospital admissions of malnourished children in the Northeast as a result of severe food shortage. And they're saying this is in the 4 years, this is the highest number of crises. It's a combination of two things: climate change and the conflict within the area. And there are children, they said by the, as we get into the end of the year, into next year, 6.1 million people would not have enough to eat in the coming months based on these issues. And we need to say it. So it's not about the food being expensive. It's not even available. So we need to talk about that. And government needs to have a
and we saw the effects in celebration. Every year I've been going to celebration. When they give us rice in celebration, big...
Did you come back for your food?
Big, of course I took it. Big chicken, one meat, and they put moi.
And this year?
This year, there was no moi.
It's only jollof rice.
Jollof rice, and the meat was very small.
Asaro.
And no asaro, God bless you. That asaro used to be fantastic.
budget.
Oh, God.
And they didn't get a sponsor for the children's debate.
Yeah,
I'm
for the
saying,
school's
so
debate.
celebration had to be cut down a bit just because of the hardship. But when I saw that, because I was looking for that rice, I told Auntie Kate, that my shrine rice, that I always,
This one, they did not let
He gave me.
This wasn't shrine rice, it was just jollof.
It was just jollof rice.
The signature left it.
I was.
But I want to quickly take the Falana story. So the court granted the ex parte
500
application.
million.
Yeah, no. Ordering, Falana had brought an ex parte application that's immediate, temporary, to ask very dark black man to take off all the defamatory content that he had put up about the SAN.
Yeah.
And the court ordered it immediately. And the court also said that even though he knew that what he was publishing was false, he went ahead to publish it. So we're looking at phase 1. Scene 2 is about to come.
Okay,
right.
Let's go on a break now. That's all we can take on the front page review. When we come back, on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.